Hey everybody, Derek here to bring another video for The Walking Dead Season 5. And this video today is going to be about the trailer that was recently released that contained new footage for The Walking Dead Season 5. It's called Another Day, and I will put a link in the description so that way if you guys want to watch it on AMC's YouTube channel, you can. Very great trailer. It's only about 25 seconds long with footage. It's about 30 seconds long in general, but it finally gives us a little bit of footage about what we're gonna, see, what's gonna happen, and I'm gonna give my predictions based on some of the things that I saw. So just in case you're not caught up yet on Walking Dead, or you do not want to be spoiled in any way, this will contain spoilers. So anybody that does not want to be spoiled, don't watch the video, or else you will be spoiled. Okay. So, there are several voiceovers in the trailer, basically with different characters saying different things. Now, the only characters that talk are Rick, Tyrese, and Michonne, and Rick says the following: "We do what we need to do, and then we get to live. I know we'll be okay, because this is how we survive." So, definitely a little interesting. What exactly do they need to do? Definitely leaves a lot of questions because the trailer itself really consists of a couple of hints about some of the things that are going to happen, but it's not necessarily foregoing, like, revealing something that you can really work off of. It makes me wonder if maybe my earlier prediction about there not being a villain may actually be wrong, and that there may actually be some kind of a villain, because there are several scenes in the trailer that make me wonder what's going on. And I'll explain a couple of them, but the first scene is Rick and some of the other group members. You can see a couple of them in there. I know you can see Carol. I'm pretty sure you can see Michonne. And then there are a couple of people around there as well that you can kind of see, but like, I think one of them's Carl or Daryl. You can't tell anymore with the hairstyles. But Rick is basically talking to them, and I know that they're sitting in a barn because you can just tell with the background. Plus, in the next scene, Daryl is standing in a barn as well, just basically, walking around. I think he puts his hands on his head, and then he looks outside. And during some of this time period, whether it's going to be in the first episode, the second one, third, whatever it may be, there's a storm coming. Some kind of thunder and lightning can be heard. Now, whether it's just a regular rainstorm, heavy rain, or if it's a tornado, stuff like that, hurricane, we don't know. But it looks pretty bad out. And part of me is wondering if maybe that is what is going on. Because you see a couple of things going on as well. Basically, there's a scene where Rick, Maggie, Daryl, Abraham, and Glenn are literally pushing their bodies against the door to try to keep it shut. Now, what are they keeping it shut from? Because I think in this scene you can hear the storm, and I don't know if it's that walkers are pressing on there, or if it really is a bad storm and they're trying to keep it shut so that way they don't get killed, or they don't let the environment come in, they don't get, they don't let the doors wreck off, they don't blow out the door, stuff like that. I think that might be what's going on there, is that this storm that appears to be coming in the trailer really is going to be a big deal. And part of me thinks that maybe there may be characters that are not in safety and are actually out and about, whether they're doing missions to get, supplies or what have you. They don't all appear to be together. They may be in roughly the same vicinity, but they're not together. And there's some things that I can see here. There's one scene where Glenn is out in the forest, and he literally looks like, there's like, he looks wet, like it's been raining, and he looks around and he like fires at something, and you don't know if it's a walker or whether it's, it might just be the effects. He might just be, doing a sweep of his gun, thinking he heard something. So there may be a chance that what's going on here is that maybe we may not see a villain. There is a chance of that. We may just have, Rick and the group going to Noah's community. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. Almost certain. Whether I'm right or not, we don't know. But I feel very confident that that is where they're going. Because they do come to some place that is, walled in. I mean, there's this like gate that basically opens and shuts, and they're surrounded by some type of wall, so we know that now. Um, it may take them an episode to get there. We don't really know how much the trailer actually encompasses. I wouldn't be surprised if there's at least um, 2 episodes worth of information, well, of scenes there, or 3. I don't think it's just one. I don't think that everything that we saw in the trailer is just for episode 9. Maybe it is, but just the way that everything was looking, it didn't look like they could fit all of that into one episode and really make it cohesive and make it make sense. So I think that what we're going to see is Rick and the group go to this Richmond community, because they go in to this area. There's basically a lot of it's really just them fighting walkers. You see throughout this trailer. Several of them are walking along the road, and they happen to come upon some walkers, and they kill them pretty brutally. I mean, Rick is looking rough. I mean, you should see him. I mean, he is absolutely looking ragged. His beard and hair are just messy. It's insane. Andrew Lincoln's doing a very good job of staying in character, because he just looks like a wild man. That's about the only way that I can put it. It's amazing how he looks. And basically, you have them killing walkers. There's a scene there where they're driving a car through the walkers. Now, whether that's to get away from the storm, or whether that is the only way that they can get through the walker herd, or they just happen to, be driving along there, maybe they were out, because it looks like Rick and them are out somewhere, because Rick's standing, the very last scene shows Rick standing outside of something that looks like some kind of store or some kind of supply place, and you see him there. So maybe there's a chance that they all went out and did something, and they were all meeting back at this place, and them driving is them trying to get back to shelter before the storm hits, because it is dark out. They're running over walkers, and it just looks like it's like a storm is coming. So they really are, focusing a lot on that as well. Another thing we see is Maggie has a scene where she opens the barn door and basically finds a walker in there laying down. It's very weak. It's a weak walker. I mean, it looks like somebody who had been living in there. And this may trigger memories of Maggie with Beth. Who knows? Maybe she might think about a scene where her and Beth were inside of the barn at the Green Farm, playing, having a good time when they were kids, before this all happened. So we may see that this kind of an area reminds Maggie of Beth. Maggie doesn't look too disheveled. She does look like she's at least going along with the motions and staying alive. I mean, that's what the trailer looked like. I mean, that may change, but she was seen wielding a gun, appearing to fight. So it's not as though she's given up yet on trying to live, or maybe she's just in that stage of figuring it out. We don't know. We really don't get too much character insight as much as we get walker action, people in various places, and thunder, lightning, and a storm. So those are some things that I saw. Tyrese has a voiceover that states, "It's not over. This isn't the end." What could that mean? I think that what that is connected to, perhaps, because he's saying it to Noah or in front of Noah, because Noah's in the scene and Tyrese is standing next to him. And basically what happens is he says that to him. And there's a scene in the trailer where Noah and Tyrese are right outside of a blue house. And if you look carefully, if you slow it down, Noah's trying to go towards it, and Tyrese kind of steps in front of him, and then it cuts after that. But it looks like Tyrese is trying not to let Noah go in there. And my guess is that that may have been where his uncle was living. Where that was where his house was at in the community. So there's a chance, and that's why I think it's more likely that there is a that is where they're going, the community where Noah's uncle was at in Richmond, because he really seems to be wanting to go in there, and Tyrese is stopping him. And I think the only reason why he would do that is because he knows that that's where Noah's uncle lived. That, or maybe he's just trying to be like, no, we can't go running into some place. We need to, be careful, because Noah's really been behind the walls of the Grady Memorial Hospital. He doesn't necessarily know as well as Rick and the rest of the group how to survive out in the open, and how to, clear houses, and how you kill walkers effectively and things like that. He doesn't know that. So maybe Tyrese is just trying to help him along there. But I think that maybe that's something that is playing with his voiceover, is maybe he's just thinking, they get there and the community's destroyed, nobody's alive, they're all dead, and maybe Tyrese is just trying to give some encouragement. So that's what I think is going on there. Another thing that's going on is there appears to be bodies in the forest, basically in the woods. You see several of the group members, Michonne, Tyrese, Noah, and Rick, I know, are in that group. And then I think it might be Glenn or Maggie. Somebody else is in there. But you basically see them walking through the woods, and you see a skeleton laying on the ground. It's a complete skeleton. So God only knows how long it's been there, whether it was human or a walker. I'm pretty sure it was most likely human. But then you see this, like, place in the forest where there's like these bodies, and some of them look like they've been like cut in half, like they were eviscerated completely through the stomach. Why that is, I don't know. I think some of the bodies did appear to be intact. So part of me wonders, are they just random walker bodies, or is this another, little group of walkers that the group kills, or did somebody attack the Richmond community where Noah's uncle was at? That may be a possibility too. That we may end up seeing some kind of villain, some kind of bandit, something like that in this later half of the season. That may be why the community failed, or like why it was overrun. May not have only just been walkers; it may have been people. We don't know. And like I said, those bodies may have just been walkers. They may have been people. It may be totally unrelated. But I doubt it if it's in the trailer. But there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of thoughts there. And it's really hard to predict at this point what it might mean. And then the very last thing you hear is a voiceover by Michonne, and she says, "Don't you want one more day with a chance?" Definitely interesting. And part of me wonders if this is where we may meet up with Aaron. And part of me wonders if maybe we will be introduced to Aaron a little earlier on. That maybe while they're out, maybe hunting for supplies, they may run into him, and they don't know what to think of him. And basically, again, I think there's going to be arguments about whether the group, when they do meet Aaron, or, well, it may not even be Aaron. I'm pretty sure that Ross Marquand is going to be playing Aaron. That's my prediction. And I think somebody's going to introduce themselves to them and want to take them to the Alexandria Safe Zone or someplace like it. And I think that maybe what Michonne is doing here is basically, this may be during a time like this, or it may be early on. We don't know, where maybe the group is broken, or maybe, Michonne just doesn't believe in just this day-to-day, we're just going to do this and that and survive on our own, just, moseying along. Maybe she's trying to get, somebody to throw out an idea of something that they can do to survive. So there's a lot of different possibilities here, a lot of questions, plus who is in the trailer and who's not, because it really was focused on only a few characters, and even in the scenes that you saw, you never saw Rosita, Eugene, Gabriel, or I think maybe you saw Carl in one scene, but if you did, it was his back. because it was kind of hard to tell. But we're like, and I was thinking to myself, or Judith. You didn't see Judith either. I'm like, where the heck are they? You know, like what's going on? And they just may be, doing something else in the trailer. I'm sure they're not all dead. I mean, they're not going to kill off all those characters in, one go and just off screen. This isn't some other. Like I remember Falling Skies, they killed a couple, background characters off screen, and you went into season 2 and they were gone. They just said they died. They're not going to do that with characters like Rosita and Eugene, and especially not Carl. So I'm kind of interested to see what they are doing because they're not in the trailer at all. If you guys see them, tell me because I did. I've watched that trailer like 10 times and I have not seen any of those characters at all. So it may just be the scene where they cut. They may just be behind them. Something like that. But definitely a lot of thoughts. And I think it was a very great trailer. I think some of the things that you can get from it are. I'm pretty sure they're going to not the Alexandria Safe Zone. They're going to Noah's Richmond community. There's a storm coming, and it may be devastating. It may cause somebody to die. I mean, you just never know. And there's going to be a lot of walkers. I mean, it literally was like a herd of walkers. It was insane. And I think that we're going to see quite a bit of zombie action going into this last half, and we're going to be seeing a lot of shocking developments and really some things that are going to test the group, which is something that I really wanted to see. I want to see this group have to suffer, even though we love these characters and we would rather see them happy. I mean, maybe. But, I think that it's important to see them struggle now that they've lost the prison, now that they've lost the hope for the cure, now that they've lost people like Bob and Beth. After losing characters and people that you love and things like that, I think it's important to see the group suffer just a little bit. And then when you get a character like Aaron coming in, I think that maybe then you can start the healing process with the group and starting to form some kind of a new story. Can't wait. I'm really excited. I really wish that we didn't have to wait another 3 weeks, but hey, good things come to those who wait, right? And I believe that we'll be all right. It'll be here soon, and we'll enjoy it. So I'm going to end this video now. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any questions or comments, don't be afraid to leave them. Feel free to subscribe. I do have more videos coming. And if you guys have any video topics you would like to suggest, do not be afraid to do so. I welcome any suggestion, and I do appreciate them. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and thank you very much.